Hey guys, this is PrimEval giving you a no quitters game. It's going to be a multiplayer let's play with 6 players, and we're all part of the no quitters group, which means in addition to some random rules, the most important is that we won't be quitting. So, as far as choice of start go, if I move here, I'll leave some of these cows behind, but I will get a hill river start with an extra production and 3 extra gold. So that's what I'm going to go for. With no quitters, we always play random, and this time I got Songhai. I don't think he has any particularly strong unique abilities, at least, well, I haven't played him before, but he's certainly not one of the overpowered ones. So here we are, just settling our capital city, and choosing production of a scout, setting myself to production focus, and then locking down the food tiles, and going to start off with animal husbandry. With all of these flat tiles, there's a good chance we'll open up or discover some horses, and of course we'll need animal husbandry to improve these cattle tiles. If I had granary resources in range, I might consider going pottery first. The granary really helps you grow your capital, and of course city growth is all important. Citizens produce everything you need in this game. We just got a free animal husbandry tech out of that. And culture. So I guess last turn we got our culture. I'm going to go tradition first, just for the extra culture and faster border expansions. And then based on what we scout, if we have a lot of space to expand, I might go liberty. But tradition is a very strong tree now with the changes made in Gods and Kings. So a big shout out to, I guess, my 4 subscribers based on my first test video. I've been trying to make some more recordings, but I've been running into a few technical problems with running over the file size limit for Cam Studio, or some audio difficulties and things like that. But I'm hoping to get out some good videos before my Christmas break is over. Looks like we're in a corner here, at least water all along here, which is very nice in terms of having a defensible spot. Next, I'm going to go for a worker, because I won't be able to finish the monument before I grab legalism from the tradition tree. I haven't scouted enough yet to know whether or not I want to go towards liberty or finish out the tradition tree. Okay, so this isn't a Pangea. Most of the games that I've played in the past with no quitters have been on Pangea, but this is actually a Fractal map. So on Fractal, going scout first can be a bit of a waste, because if you're on, let's say, a small island, which this is what it's starting to look like, then the scout won't get as much use as he would on, say, on a Pangea, in which case in my case, the 4 turns I spent building the scout will be a bit of a waste. And in fact, if I do find that I have this land mass to myself, I'll disband the scout to save on his upkeep. So here we're just scouting around, seeing if in fact we are on a small island or have a landmass to ourselves. If we do have this landmass to ourselves, and if it's not, say, big enough for more than 4 cities, we'll definitely go tradition, because that'll get us more population sooner, and more population means more science. And on a game where you have a very naval map, getting teching to frigates is very important. So I'm just going to check the demographics here, see where we are on manufactured goods. Everyone's very close. So it does look like we might be on a small island. Anyways, everyone's very close in production, so I don't know if how good a chance I'll stand at grabbing the Great Library. So there, I switched over to the lower production tile to get more food and grow my capital city a little sooner. So I'm just going to pledge to protect the city-state. In a multiplayer game with no AIs, there's absolutely no disadvantage to pledging to protect. You won't get any diplomatic bonuses versus the AI or anything like that, or diplomatic anti-bonuses, detriments. There's certainly no drawback. So by the looks of it, we are on an island. Next turn, if what my warrior sees suggests that we are on a enclosed landmass to ourselves, I will delete the scout. So what I was doing there was bringing up a web browser. So I've been having problems going over time with Cam Studio, so I'm just going to use a web tool as a timer. I'm just going to set that up now. I'm just going to pause the video. So I think if I keep these videos to about 20 minutes, I'll be able to make sure, or I'll be able to avoid exceeding my file size limits. So here I have some time to go for put some hammers into the granary before Reading comes online. If I am isolated, then going for the Great Library is a perfectly sensible thing to do. With this Barbarian here, it might get in the way of my worker doing what he needs to do. So maybe deleting that scout was a little hasty. I might want to have brought my warrior back to protect my worker and then sent my scout out over all these hills. But from the looks of it, we've got water here. It's possible we're on an island, or it's possible that we just have this little isthmus to ourselves. So I'm going to get mining up, so as we race for the Great Library, I'll be able to get some chops in. Once we got that third population up, we got into second place in terms of manufactured goods. I'm going to switch us over to this tile for the extra food versus the extra production. I think I will want to finish the granary first. Even though it really will be a race for the Great Library if everyone else realizes they're isolated and have time for that kind of thing. So this might be a mistake here. I'm wasting 3 turns, but the extra population from the extra food will up my manufactured goods and give me more workers to work tiles, and thus more production, and possibly I'll finish the Great Library faster. I haven't tested this out or crunched any numbers, so I don't actually know if that works. And so it looks like I'm not on a island after all, because Dinderdry it just said hi there, which implies that I've met him, but I haven't, so I'm not sure why he's saying hi there, but I'll say hello. So we'll scratch that. I'm not sure why he said hello. Maybe he's just being friendly without any in-game special in-game reasons. So now, as I said, we'll have mining next turn. We can chop this forest towards the Great Library. Meanwhile, our warrior can explore up there. Hopefully our worker won't get harassed by any barbarians. It'll hurt quite a bit if we do lose that worker. So each turn I'll have to remember to keep an eye on any approaching barbarians. So we're going to try to go for the Great Library here. We are leading on manufactured goods. So I'll get a chop in, and we'll hope for the best. Next up, I'm going to go for the wheel since we're on a river, and I really like getting the water mill. And if we're still leading on manufactured goods, then that'll set up nicely to tech to mathematics. Ooh. Barbarians everywhere, and then we can go for the hanging gardens. And there we just met another person, so we're not on an island after all, and deleting that scout was definitely premature. So my judgments aren't as good as I would like them to be. They were a little better when I played a lot of Civ during the summer, but it's been a while since I've been able to play as much as I like, and so I'm a little rusty in terms of making these various key judgments. The most important judgments that I'm off on are whether or not I have enough military to conquer a city, or whether or not it's overkill. So this worker might be in trouble. I was hoping he would be able to work these tiles while these barbarians attacked, but as it is, he'll have to hide out, I guess, over here. And hope that the barbarians don't sneak up from anywhere else. So here I have another forest that is currently safe to chop. In terms of city locations, settling down here on tundra is usually a bad idea, but we do have some hills, and there is a unique luxury to motivate that. So very luckily, we just got a unit from our military city-state ally Hanoi, and that will allow us to protect our worker and allow our worker to chop down a tree or this forest, so we can be in good shape to finish that great library. But we did lose a number of turns. 3 turns from when we could have started the Great Library because I built the granary first, and then several turns of chopping because I had to run my worker away from these barbarians. So we're about to find out a little more about this landmass. There's Spades, who we had met previously, and it looks like the landmass does extend for quite a bit longer, which means we're in a nice safe area here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 unique luxuries in our area. So if we can just squeeze in our 4 cities down here and then tech up peacefully with these city-states as a barrier, and then there's also a lot of hills and jungles in the way, we should be fairly safe. And if we can complete the Great Library before someone else does, we will be in a good position in terms of teching. So I'm just going to protect my worker here. I'm not in a rush to get experience on my warrior. We've fallen behind a little in terms of manufactured goods. Let's see if we can rearrange some of these to shave a turn off the Great Library. Nope. We are working as quickly as we can, or making as many hammers as we can. Once we finish the wheel, I might consider buying watermill, which will give us an extra production. It might be smarter, or it actually is smarter to spend that on a settler, because cities I hope this barb doesn't capture my worker. I'll capture it back, but I'll lose a turn in terms of what that worker could have been doing. Greece already has a settler out. So I'm just trying to put Greece at ease here. He might preemptively take out my warrior out of paranoia for protecting his settler. So yeah, anyways, the settler will result in more hammers over time than buying the watermill, although the watermill is an excellent improvement, without a doubt. So I'm just going to look for another forest. The forest won't be chopped in time, so perhaps instead I will... I'm not sure if the worker gets captured here. Zone of control of the city I don't think actually stops the warrior from going to that tile. So instead I'll just put a turn of farming into this tile here, and start working on mathematics. In terms of manufactured goods, someone's at 14, which is absolutely ridiculous. They must have a lot of nice hills on their starting squares, or hexes. So yeah, now I'm going to head towards these cattle to improve them for the extra production. and we're one turn away from getting the Great Library. I think we're player 4, so if players 1, 2, or 3 are finishing the Great Library at the same time as us, or i.e. next turn, we're actually going to lose out on it. I hope that doesn't happen, but we'll see. But we got it. That's terrific. So, the most expensive tech for us here is drama and poetry. So that's what I'm going to grab. And we're going to start production on the watermill. So even though I do, let's see. So a settler's going to cost me 370. If I meet some more city-states, I will be able to get up to that. So I am going to go for the hanging gardens instead of building a settler. So Greece just found their city by this mountain, and it's also a hill, so that's a nice city location. They also have some granary resources in range and 2 luxury resources, so that's actually a very nice spot there. And it's not encroaching on my area yet, so nothing to fear. And it's also very defensive. These mountains act as a barrier in addition to these city-states here. So we might be on a large island together. Alright, so in order to keep my file sizes down, I think I'm going to stop the video here and continue in part 2.